sweet. Good morning, class.
Good morning, sir.
So today we're looking at the paper you guys have written last year, which was the November 2022 paper 2. At this point we have completed paper 1. So with time against us, we need to complete this paper 2 as well. Okay. So we are on question 1. We are told that the table below shows the distance in kilometers traveled daily by a makeup sales lady for 20 days in October. The distance has been arranged in ascending order. What does ascending mean? Smallest to biggest. Okay. Write down the 5-number summary. So the 5-number summary consists of the values. Lowest value, quartile 1, quartile 2, quartile 3, your upper quartile, your 75th percentile, and your maximum value. Maximum value. Okay. So the lowest value is 131. The highest value, of course, is 200. There are 20 values, 20 recordings here. So 20 divided by 2 is 10, so it's the 10th and 11th number. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. So it's going to be 150 plus 151 divided by 2 gives you 150.5. Since there's 2 numbers in the middle, the one forms part of the bottom set of data, whilst the other forms part of the top set of data. Okay. 10 divided by 2 is 5, so it's the 5th and 6th number. So I count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 5 and 6. So it's going to be 141 plus 144 divided by 2 gives you an answer of 142.5. Okay, here we count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's those 2 numbers. So it's 169 plus 172 divided by 2 gives you an answer of 170.5. Okay. Okay. Let's do the next one. We are told using the given scale, draw the box and whisker diagram for the set of data in the space provided. So with that, we need to use this data information there. As we know, the 5-number summary is used to draw the box and whisker plot. Okay. So the lowest value, of course, gets a dot. So 131, so if that is 130, 131 is right next to it. It's 131. The highest value is 200, which is the last value here. Also gets a dot. Okay, that is 200. Then 150.5. This 150 is approximately there, so 150.5 is just over that. Okay? So that gets a stroke, so it's just past that. 150.5. So we write it in there. Okay? So that the examiner know, we know more or less what we're talking about. So that is 140 is there. 142 is there, 0.5. It's a stroke. That's 142.5. And then 170.5, well, it's approximately there. Okay, so there's my box. And there's my whiskers. Okay. Any confusion there, people? There we go. 170.5. You won't get marks for writing these values in, but at least the examiner knows what you're referring to. Okay. Let's carry on. Comment on the skewness of this data. If you look at the data here, as you can see, the gap from the median to that side is larger. So we say the data is skewed to the Next one, use your calculator to determine the mean distance and the standard deviation of the distance travelled. So with that, I would need this information here. Not so. That's correct? Right. So when we work out, since the question is to calculate the mean, so the mean, calculate sum of all the numbers divided by number of numbers. But since the question is for the standard deviation as well, okay, it's only going to make sense to then calculate your mean and your standard deviation using the stats key on the calculator. Okay? So we start off by pressing mode. Start off by mode. Then we press. You press mode. You press 3 for stat. 3 for stat. Then you press 1 for variance. First variance. Okay, and the black calculator is a bit different. I think it's 2 for stat if I'm not mistaken. Okay. So now we can enter the data. Okay. Can somebody read out the data for me? 131, yes? Yes? 132. 140, yes? 140, yes? 141. 144. 146. 147. 149. 150. 151. 159. 167. 169. Yes? 172. 174. 175. 178. 200. Thereafter press AC, all clear. And then press shift. The number 1. You're all clear. Shift, number 1. Why am I pressing shift? Is to activate the yellow key on top of number 1. It gives you then stat mode again. It's 4 for variance. 4 for variance. 2 for your mean. Or 3 for your standard deviation. Okay. So press 2 for mean equals. So the mean value is 156. Is that correct? And your standard deviation, which is, press again 4 for variance, 3 for standard deviation, equals 17,595, so it's 17.6. Okay. As you can see, this data is fairly widespread between 131 and 200. That's why the variance is so large. Okay, the variance tell us. Standard deviation basically tell us how close or how far apart the values are from each other. So if the values are fairly close or tight, then there's a small variation, small variance. You understand? So you guys take all your ages, besides me now, all your ages, you will see, will the variance be large or small? Small. Why? Because all your ages will be more or less close by each other. Not so? Right. .5.1 we are told the sales lady realized that the odometer was faulty. Now the odometer is the mechanism that takes the reading of your kilometers traveled, the distance traveled. Okay. The actual reading on each of the 20 days was P kilometers more than she initially recorded. Okay. The question says write down in terms of P where applicable the actual mean. So if you calculate the mean, if it's exactly P days and P kilometers, if it's exactly P kilometers more every single day, then your mean would simply be, your mean would be 156.7 plus P. Okay, can you see that? So if it is 20 days that the recording was taken, it's simply going to be 20 times 3, which is 22, divided by the number of days, which is 23. You understand it? So that is going to be that. The actual standard deviation. So what happens here is that the deviation around the mean, okay? If this goes by the exact same amount, it increased by p for argument's sake. Then that means to say that the data doesn't move further apart from each other. Can you see that? The data will just move p units on. So it will not affect your standard deviation. You understand? So your standard deviation remains your standard deviation. So your standard deviation would simply be 17,6. It remains 17. So that won't be affected. Okay. People in 1.2. Just take this back up here. Question 1.2, we are told the following table shows the sales on one Sunday morning of the new Revlon Super Glossy Lipstick and the ages of the woman who bought the product. The cumulative frequency graph has been drawn using this data. Okay. Sales ladies, bisak, na? Alright. So we are told here, this is the age groups of the people, the number of lipsticks, and the cumulative frequency. Okay. You see the people in the 70s also buying lipstick. I wonder for who is that. Alright. But anyway. Right, so we got the age groups, we got the number of lipsticks and the cumulative frequency. Then we are given the cumulative frequency polygon. This is also known as the ogive graph. Okay. The ogive or the ogive graph. First question, determine the missing values A, B and C from the table above. So we know to work at the cumulative frequency, I transfer that over, add 30 to that 15 is then going to give me 45. Not so? And so on. So that is 45. So 45 plus 12 is 57. 57 plus B is 66. So it's 9 plus 57 is 66. Okay? And then 66 plus 5 is 71. 71 plus 3 is 74. 74 plus 1 is 75. So your A value, of course, is 45. Your B value is 9. And your C value is 75. The next question says, determine how many lipsticks were sold in total. So number of lipsticks, so there's how many lipsticks that's going to be sold in total? 75. So the answer is 75 lipsticks in total. Determine the modal class. Now the modal class is the class that has the most in. So if you look here, the first category is 15, 13, 12, 9, 5, 3, 1. So the one that has the most in is from 21. X is greater than 21 but less than or equal to 30. Okay. Let's go to the next question. The next question says, use your cumulative frequency graph to answer the following questions. Okay, so we'll take this off here. Your cumulative frequency graph to answer the following questions. Is there one mistake? There is one mistake on the graph. Use a highlighter, colored pen, or to correct this mistake. So where is this mistake? The starting point here. As we know, that we need to start by the lowest value of that class interval. Not so. So in other words, we need to start approximately there. So there's your mistake. Okay. Let's look at the next question. B says, use the graph to determine the interquartile range. Show all your working. So for your interquartile range, I highlighted for green, that's B. So your interquartile range is going to be Q3 minus Q1. So how many values are you in total? Yeah? There's 75 in total, not so. So for your quartile 1, it's going to be 75 times 75 times 1 over 4. So that gives us what? So it's 75 times 1 over 4. That gives you 18,75. Now some say you must use the formula n plus quarter into n plus 1. Okay, that could also happen. A quarter into times n plus 1, which is 75 plus 1. So they give you 19. But the thing is, this is an approximation here. So if you use that plus 1 or you don't use that plus 1, you're going to get a mark anyway. Okay, so I got 18. What was the first one I gave you? So it says use 19. So it's just below 20. Okay, so let's pick this up here. It's just below that. So what I do is I take a ruler and I go on that graph thing, and as it hits that graph, I move it down. Can you see that, people? So I get approximately, what is that? 22. What did you guys get in the exam? 22, 21. That's all acceptable. Of course, we're not going to accept a value less than 20. Why? Because here you can clearly see that 20 is coming in at a different value. And as you can see, it's a mark here, it's coming in at 50. You understand? So it's approximation. Okay, but it must also be within reason. Okay, also if you go above 20 and you check this reading here, it's leaning more closer to 30. So I'm going to take that as an acceptable answer as well. But there's a fairly decent range in which we accept values here. Okay, then for quartile 3, it's going to be 75 times 3 over 4. Remember, quartiles divides the data into quarters. So the third quartile is the start of the third quarter. So it's 3 over 4 times, was it 75, no? Gives you 56,25. So that if you go with the other formula, it's going to give you 56.5, I think it is, there around, no? So 56,25, so this is 50, 55 is there. So 56 is just above that, not so, but it's of course less than. This value here, as you can see, there's a dot there, it's less than, what's this, 40, no? So I get approximately 48, no, 38, is that correct? What did you guys get in the exam? 38. So it's around about that. 39 is acceptable, 37 I think I've even accepted 36, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, so what I do is I just say then 38 minus 22 is going to give 38 minus 22 gives you 16. So the range is approximately, the interquartile range is approximately 16. What if the question was a semi-interquartile range? Then I would have divided that by 2. The semi is 2. Okay. That basically brings us to the end of question 1, which is your data handling. People, question 2, in the diagram we are told, we just need to make this way smaller. Question 2. We are told that in the diagram A, which is 4 and 2, B, which is 6 and negative 4, C, which is negative 2, negative 3, are vertices of the endpoints of triangle ABC. T is the midpoint of CB. The equation of line AC is 5x minus 6y equals 8. The angle of inclination of AB, the angle of inclination of AB is your alpha. Triangle DCT is drawn such that These lines are parallel. Okay? You guys get it?
Mathematicians?
Thanks, boss. Okay. Line AC and BD intersect at S. And then we also tell the y-intercept of AC is P. The y-intercept of AC. No. The y-intercept of AC. Am I reading wrong? The line AC and DT intersect at S. Right? Then the y-intercept of AC. Okay? Which is y-intercept of AC. Okay? Which is also the y-intercept of AC. Okay? P, F and R are the x-intercepts. So it's P, F and R are the x-intercepts of DC, AC and AB respectively, which means that in that order. Okay. Alright, so everything that is given in that introduction is on our diagram at this point. Alright, so let's look at the first question. Right, first things first. The question says, the first question says, just get this here. It says calculate the gradient of AB. So if you're looking at AB, this is 2.2.1. AB is this line here. So to calculate the gradient, I need 2 points on this graph, not so, or the angle. So I have 2 points. So the gradient of AB is equal to y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Not so. So it's going to be 2 minus 4 over 4 minus 6, which is going to give us 6 over negative 2, which is negative 3. Is that correct? So the gradient of this is going to be negative 3. Which means to say the gradient of DC is also negative 3. Not so? Why? Because if lines are parallel, gradients are equal. So in 2.1.2 the question says the size of angle alpha, which is this angle there. So what do we then say? Tan of alpha, of course, is equal to the gradient of AB. So we say tan of alpha is equal to negative 3, arctan of negative 3. Because the angle is negative, it's going to give you because the gradient is negative, it's going to give you a negative angle. And then add 180 to it. Not so. Arctan of negative 371,56. So plus 180 gives you an answer of 108.4. 3. So alpha is equal to 108.43 degrees. So I'm just going to write it in here. 108.43 degrees. Okay. Any confusion at this point? Normally everybody gets this question, huh? These two. Alright, now we carry on with our lives. Okay. In 2.1.3, the question says the coordinates of t. But we know that t is the midpoint, not so? So t is going to be x1 plus x2 over 2, y1 plus y2 over 2. So if we make this x1, y1, this will be x2, y2. If you go on the other way around, it gives you the same answer. So it's negative 2 plus 6 over 2, which is 4. And then negative 3 minus 4 over 2, which is negative 7 over 2. Okay. 2.1.4, the coordinates of S. People, what is S? What is S? S is the y-intercept of that straight line AC. Not so. So how do you calculate the y-intercept? Yes?
For T.
Yes?
So it should be 2.
Not 4. Yes, you are correct. Thank you. It was 4 divided by 2. No? No. Now, for S, you say y-intercept. How do you calculate y-intercept? We let x equal to 0, not so. So we say, was that a 5 or 3? This a 5. So it's 5 times 0 minus 6, y is equal to 8. That gives you 0 there. Negative 6y is equal to 8. Y is equal to negative 4 over 3. But have I answered the question? No, they want the coordinates of S. So S is going to be 0 and negative 4 over 3. Okay. Any issues there? No? As you can see, what's happening is I'm populating this diagram as I move on. Okay. Make that a habit so that in your exam you do the same. Is that it? Okay. 2.2, still dealing with this graph here. And I'm assuming, yes, 2.3, 2.3.2, all dealing with this graph, okay? And, or the diagram, sorry. Okay, so in the next question, determine the equation of CD in the form of y is equal to px plus q. That is the same as saying in the form of y is equal to mx plus c. You alright at the back, Michael? Okay. Y is equal to mx plus c. Px plus q is the same. Okay. So let me use green here. So 2.2 CD. Now, people, what we know about CD, I think I mentioned it earlier on, that these lines are parallel. So the gradient of CD is what? Is equal to the gradient of AB, which is negative 3. Ne? So I got y is equal to negative 3x plus c. So in order to calculate the equation of the straight line, I need at least one point on that line. Not so? Do I have a point on that line? Yes, I have C. So you'll substitute C, which is negative 2 and negative 3. Remembering that's an x and a 1. So you got negative 3 is equal to negative 3 times negative 2 plus C. That is 6, not so? So C is going to give you negative 9. As you can see, if you draw a line here for CD, it will cut your y-intercept very low, in this case negative 9. Right? So y is equal to negative 3x minus 9. Yeah, take it. Yeah, I was almost halfway marking it. Alright, so this is the equation of this line. Y is equal to negative 3x minus 9. Okay, any confusion here, people? No. But let me know when I'm making a mistake. No? People, 2.3.1, 2.3.2. Let's go with the first one. Calculate the size of DCA. So angle DCA. This angle. Okay. So if I draw a line parallel to your x-axis, why do I do that? Because I can work out the angles of inclination. Not so. At this point, I already know what the inclination of that angle is. Not so? Why? Because I've worked out angle alpha already. How do I know it's going to be the same? Because the radians are the same. You guys understand? So this line that I've drawn in here is parallel to your x-axis. Where did you mark? So that angle there is 108.43. So what I now do is I work out this angle here. Let's call this theta for now. Okay? So now I say tan of theta is equal to the gradient of AC. So tan of theta is equal to, did I work out the gradient of AC already? No. However, I can draw the gradient of AC from that information. Not so? So I say negative 6y is equal to negative 5x plus 8 divided by negative 6. So it's 5 over 6x plus 4 over 3 in the negative. Okay? So the gradient of that line is 5 over 6. Otherwise I could have used the gradient. I can calculate the gradient there, which would have been 2 minus minus 3, which is 5 over 4 minus minus 2, which is 6 as well anyway. 5 over 6. Okay, so we say tan of theta equals 5 over 6. So theta is equal to, so we put arctan of 5 over 6. It gives me an answer of 39.81 degrees. Therefore, DCA, that angle, will be that larger angle which we calculated to be 108.43 minus 39.81. That's probably behind the calculator. So it's 108.43 minus that answer of 39.81 gives you 68.62. 68.62 degrees. So again, I'm going to write this in here. 68.62 degrees. Just in case I need it. Okay. Then the last question here, so take this off again. Gradient here was negative 3. The last question here, we are told that the area, so it's 2.3.2. The area of PO is C. PO is C. Okay. Hi. Salam.
I need to collect the LO to this.
Okay. So people to work out POSC, there's many ways of doing it. I can divide this up into two triangles. Okay. I can divide it up into two triangles and then work out the area of triangle OPS. This was a right angle triangle. And then I can calculate that distance, that distance. Since I got this angle, I can use the, which formula? The area formula for non-right angle triangle. It's not so, which is half AB sine C. Okay. That is one way of doing it. I'm sure there's many, many more. However, what I've seen was, to calculate this, what I would do is I would extend this here. Okay, I'm going to erase this a little bit, because that's a bit too much for the diagram. But this is what we're calculating. Okay. So what I'll do is I'll complete a rectangle here. Can you see how I complete a rectangle? Okay. So let's call this PO. Did I use your R here? I'll use that point R. I got S, T. So I should have had R. There's here R. Okay, did I use A, B, C, D? Is here D? E? E. Let's call this E. F. Alright, so I'll just put the letters in here so that you guys know what I'm referring to. Okay.
So the E
Here is a F and a E. G. Okay. So what I'm going to do is the area of POSC is simply going to be that big rectangle, which is POGE minus triangle 1 minus triangle 2. Can you see that, people? So what it's going to give us now is just put this here at the bottom. So I know it's behind it. Start on that side. Alright. So now alright. So if you look at this triangle here, remember we got the equation of DC, not so? What was the equation of DC? Y is equal to negative 3x minus 9. So what is the coordinates of P? That's your x-intercept. Let y equal to 0. So I'm going to get negative 3 here. Not so? Then, if you look at E, the x-coordinate of E is negative 3. As you can see, this line P, E is parallel to your y-axis. And I'm going to still draw all of that in. So the diagram is going to be overpopulated here. People, what is the y value on EG? What is the y reading anywhere on EG? It has to be negative 3. So what's the coordinates of G? 0 and negative 3. We know what S is. S is 0 and negative 4 over 3. Okay. Now we can do the calculation. How do you calculate the area of a rectangle? Length times breadth. But this is actually a square, because that's 3 by 3. Can you see that, people? There's a 3 by 3 minus, let's go with first triangle here. So it's going to be half. What's the base here? From negative 2 to 0, what is this length? 2 times the height. Now the height is that there. So that's from 0 to negative 4 over 3, that is 4 over 3. And this from 0 to here is 3. So in other words, I must say 3 minus 4 over 3. Let's put this in the right order here. That is going to be 4 minus 4 over 3. So you want the distance between that. So that's going to be 8 over 3. Okay, so that is 8 over 3 minus, let's go with triangle 2. So what is that base here? It's going to be a 1, so it's a half. 1 times, and what is the height from there to there? 3. Okay. That is going to simply be 3 times 3 minus a half times 2 times 8 over 3. Well, just press answer. Minus a half times 3 times 1. Gives me 29 over 6. Is that correct? Or 4,83 units squared. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Right. You're not going to get this wrong again. Right, let's go to question 3. We are told that in the diagram below, points A, which is 3 and 15, point D, which is 7.5 and 8, B, which is negative 5 and negative 1 and 5 are given. AB is parallel to CD, where C is the y-intercept of CD. Okay, it's also the y-intercept of BC. Ne? The x-intercept of CD is E, BC is joined. Right, everything that we need is on this diagram. Not so? Alright, let's see what they have in store for us here. Right, 3.1. So in 3.1 the question says, calculate the length of AB. So how do you calculate the length of AB? Distance formula. Pull this down here. So AB is equal to the square root of x2 minus x1 squared plus y2 minus y1 squared. Okay? So B is going to be 5 minus 1 squared plus 13 minus 5 squared. Okay, that gives us an answer of 6 squared is 36, 15 is 8, 6 is 10 is 100. So it's the root of 100, which is 10. Is that correct? Alright, so that gives you 10. 3.2, calculate the gradient of AB. So the gradient of AB is going to be y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So it's going to be 13 minus 5 over 5 minus minus 1. So it's 13 minus 5 is 8 over 6, which is 4 over 3. The gradient is going to be 4 over 3. Okay. Any confusion there? Right. Let's look at the next question. 3.3. Okay, so 3.3 says, show that the equation of CD is given as that. People, for the show that or prove that question, I can't use that in my calculation. So as we can see here, CD, I only have one point on the graph. However, we know that CD is parallel to AB. So the gradient of AB is 4 over 3, which is equal to the gradient of CD. The lines are parallel. So y is equal to 4 over 3 x plus c. People, I don't have to say that, okay? I'm going to substitute the point on this graph, which is D, 7.5 and 8. Go on the time, on the line. So remembering that's a x and a y, so 8 is equal to 4 over 3 times 7.5 plus c. So c is equal to 8 minus 4 over 3 times 7.5. Okay. So it gives you an answer of negative 2. Does that make sense? Yes. Can you see here? So the coordinates of c is going to be 0 and negative 2 as negative 2. So y is equal to 4 over 3x minus 2. But if you look here, that is not like it is there. Everything is on the left hand side. So firstly I multiply by 3. I get 3y equals 4x minus 6. Bring everything to the left, so it's 4x plus 3y plus 6 is equal to 0. Okay. Then the question says, determine the x coordinate. The x coordinate of E. So how do you work out your x coordinate? How do you work out that point? That is your x intercept, not so. So how do you calculate your x intercept? We let y equal to 0. We have just calculated this equation here, which is y equals 4 over 3x minus 2. Okay? So we say 0 is equal to 4 over 3x minus 2. We take that over the equal sign, becomes 2 is equal to 4 over 3x. So x works out to be 6 over 4, which is 3 over 2. Is that correct? So the coordinates of E is 3 over 2 and 0. You all agree with that? Okay. This paper is fairly simple, no? Alright.
Good morning. May I have your attention, please? The following learners can they please report to the office for a collection? Iman Jardin, Jada van Boom, Nabila Majid, and Imanati Makwetu.
Okay, let's just finish this up quickly.
Jada van Boom, Nabila Majid,
3.5.
and Imanati Makwetu. Thank you.
Calculate the numerical value of OCE. So OCE. So this angle here they want you to calculate. Not so. So what we do is we draw a line here. Okay, so firstly we know that that angle is 90 degrees, not so? So we can actually work out this angle, which in fact is the angle alpha as well. Can you see that? So we say tan of alpha equals the gradient of CD, which is 4 over 3. So that angle alpha works out to be arctan of 4 over 3, gives us 53,13. So therefore, OCE is going to be 90 degrees minus 53,13. 90 minus 53,13 gives us 36,87 degrees. Okay. Then the last question says prove that 3.6. Prove that ABED is a parallelogram. Now to prove parallelograms, I can prove one of 5 here. But since we already know that that is parallel, can you see it's already parallel? And we know that is 10. So if we can prove that DE is 10, I've done the job. So you work out the distance of DE. So it's going to be 7.5 minus 3 over 2 squared plus 8 minus 0 squared. So you put that in the calculator. The square root of 7.5 minus 1.5 squared plus 8 squared gives me 10. Can you see that? So now we say since DE is equal to BA, which is equal to 10, as well as DE is parallel to BA. Given, no? That was proven. Therefore, BADE is a parallelogram. Why? Because one pair of opposite sides equal and parallel. Since one pair of opposite sides are equal and parallel, it suffices to conclude it's a parallelogram. People, enjoy the rest of your day. Good morning, class. Yes.